Okay, it's 8 o'clock. And today, Friday, we normally do the metta bhavana. Sorry, just distracted by the messages. We normally do the metta bhavana, and we're going to do that today. And I just wanted to talk about what metta is. So metta bhavana is the old Indian name for this meditation, and it's usually translated loving kindness meditation. So metta is a special word, really, and it's got no translation. It means all sorts of things of English words like friendship, acceptance, goodwill, loving kindness is the usual one, often translated as love as well, love with a capital L. But it can mean supporting or being in tune with. It's a kind of word for just connection with people, a sort of a warm, friendly, loving connection with all of the beings. And it's kind of an unconditional love. When we feel metta for somebody or something, we don't expect anything back. We're just giving of ourselves. We're giving of our love without it being a transaction. Because often when we love something, we are getting something back, which is okay. But metta isn't that. Metta is just this outpouring of love and kindness and acceptance to other people. Excuse me a moment, I must just clear the frog in my throat. It's better. So this is what we're trying to cultivate, and we're trying to cultivate it for everybody, really, in the end, ourselves included, our good friends, people we know, strangers, even people we don't like, and even people we don't know. So it's such a radical practice. And the great thing about this practice is if we keep on practicing it, we become kinder. It's inevitable. We can't help but become kinder to other people and to ourselves. But the great thing is the world becomes kinder to us. It's absolutely incredible. And I've practiced it for 10 or 11 years now. And I'm constantly surprised by how the world responds to me in a much different way to how I thought it used to respond, at least 10 or 11 years ago. As a result, my life is much happier. And of course, that's partly because I have more kindness towards myself and my own experience. But it is also because other people respond to kindness. Human beings always respond to kindness. So I just want to read something by Albert Einstein, who knew a thing or two about kindness and compassion. Before I do that, I just want to refer to the Buddha, who and also Martin Luther King, who both said hate is never dispelled by hate. Only love can dispel hate. So if somebody approaches us in a mean, bad-spirited, hateful way, the way to make that keep going is to be hateful back. To be kind back completely diffuses the situation. Hate is just cannot survive kindness. So if we can always respond to the world with love, then we start to connect with the world. We start to connect with other people. So this is what Einstein says. A human being is part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings are separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few people nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in all its beauty. Nobody is able to achieve this completely, but the striving for such an achievement is in itself a part of the liberation and a foundation for inner security. So I think that's wonderful. This prison we put ourselves in, cutting ourselves off from the world and from the beauty of the world and the beauty of living beings. So that's our mission this morning, to work on this. Okay, so we'll start in the usual way by just settling into the meditation. And you can do this lying on the bed, lying on the floor, in a chair, on a cushion, whatever is your normal style of meditation, or whatever is comfortable for you. Doesn't really matter. So to begin with, just bringing attention to your experience of being here right now in this moment. Just bringing your consciousness into a focus, just to the sensations going on in your body, the thoughts going on in your head, in your mind, and your emotional state. All the good bits and all the less than good bits. Just taking stock of the whole of your being. And if it feels good, then just celebrating that, being grateful for that. If it feels less good or painful, just having a sense of loving kindness towards your being and to any bits that hurt. Just turning towards them with love and kindness. Noticing any sounds that you can hear this morning. The warmth of the air on your face, or maybe coolness if you're inside in a cold room. And just noticing what that feels like on the skin. Allowing the weight of your body to be held by whatever you're sitting or lying on. Noticing the contact with the floor or the bed or the chair. And just letting whatever you're sitting or lying on take your weight. Just giving up the weight of your body to that. Noticing your forehead, just going to your forehead, noticing if you've got a frown there, and if you have, just letting the forehead relax. Just letting any creases drop out. Allowing the face muscles to sag. Nobody's looking. Just allowing the face to be easy and comfortable. Allowing the jaw to drop open slightly and letting the eyes rest easy behind the eyelids. And bringing attention to the breathing now. Noticing the breath in the chest, inside the chest, coming down the throat into the lungs and out again. The rising and falling of the rib cage. Just allowing yourself to become absorbed in that movement. Just letting go of any thoughts that arise. Just noticing particularly any pleasant feelings in the chest as you breathe. And then bringing your focus down to the bottom of the rib cage, in the center, the sternum, and moving just behind there, just behind the bottom of the rib cage, in the middle of the chest. And there behind the sternum is the heart center, the place from which all our positive emotions emanate. As you breathe in and breathe out, you might feel a pleasant, warm feeling there. Sense of benevolence, maybe even a sense of love. And if you're struggling in any way, just bringing to mind somebody you love and relaxing. And just seeing what happens. If you can't feel this warmth, this warm, pleasant feeling, that's okay. But if you can, just allowing it to spread through the whole of your being, not forcing it, just allowing it to grow as you open your heart. And if you can't feel anything, just staying open to the possibility, opening your heart as much as you can. Welcoming the world into your heart. And in this first stage, just looking, reflecting on ourselves. Multifaceted people, all of us. We have good bits and bad bits. We have bad habits and good habits. And our lives are a mixture of light and dark. We can be very happy and we can be very sad and unhappy. And sometimes we can get frustrated and be critical of ourselves. And yet we're always doing our best. And we don't need to be perfect. We're just a work in progress, doing our best. So can we have a sense of kindness towards ourselves? Can we be a support to ourselves in the good times and the hard times? Can we be our own best friend? Can we look after ourselves? Particularly when times get hard. Can we celebrate who we are right now, just as we are? And accept ourselves exactly as we are right now. In stage 2, we're going to bring to mind a really good friend, someone that we really care about, someone who cares about us. And just noticing what happens in our body. What are the sensations in our heart center, in our body generally? Perhaps a feeling of warmth or deep affection. Or maybe something completely different. Whatever it is, just noticing that and accepting it exactly as it is. And maybe reflecting on the life of our good friend. We know them quite well, probably, And we know that they too have ups and downs in their lives. Sometimes life is great, sometimes it's really difficult. Sometimes they too like themselves, and at other times are quite critical of themselves. So in so many ways, they feel just the way we do. We have this bond of humanity between us. Tender, fragile human beings, just doing the best in the world. So can we open our hearts to our best friend and wish them well? Wish them all happiness in their lives and freedom from pain and suffering. Just letting the good friend go for now and bringing into our imagination, into our meditation this morning, a stranger. Just somebody we see quite often, but we don't really know. We don't like them or dislike them. They're just somebody that we pass in the street, or maybe a neighbour, a bus driver, shop assistant, postie. And bringing them into our meditation as an image, if we can visualize them, or if we can't do that, just as a sense of them being here with us. And just noticing how we feel. What's our response to this stranger? It may be that we feel a connection of some kind with them, or perhaps more likely, we might feel a bit indifferent to them, a bit cold, a bit disinterested. And if that's the case, then that's perfectly okay. That's the way we are as human beings. We have a We're hardwired to look after ourselves and our immediate family and friends, the people who affect our lives. So it's usual that we don't take other people, strangers, into our hearts in the same way. So that's what we're trying to overcome. Trying to have a connection with all living beings, beginning with this stranger. They may appear distant, they may appear very separate to us, but we can reflect that they go through the same range of feelings that we do, good and bad. They too are sometimes self-critical, they too are sometimes happy, sometimes sad. They too are doing the best to make their way through their life. This stranger, just like us, is going to get sick. They're going to grow old, and one day they're going to die. Very much like us. So can we open our hearts to this stranger? Can we have a sense of warmth and benevolence to them? Wishing them well in their lives. So letting the stranger go for now, and bringing to mind somebody we have a bit of difficulty with, somebody we maybe don't get on with, or who we don't like to be with for some reason. Maybe somebody who irritates us or just gives us a bit of a weird feeling. So bringing such a person to mind now, either as an image or something about them that we can feel, bringing their presence into our meditation, and just noticing how that makes us feel, particularly in the body. What happens in the body when we think of them. I would guess that some unpleasant sensations arise in the body, and probably unpleasant thoughts as well. I mean, unpleasant from the point of view of uncomfortable. So that's okay. That's perfectly natural. So just being okay about that, not beating yourself up for your reaction to this person. Just accepting that that's how you feel, and that's okay. It's the truth. Just being completely accepting of how you feel about this person, without judgment, without criticism. Being kind to yourself about the pain you feel, even if it's quite mild. And then, without trying to like this person or change our feelings about this person in any way, in spite of how we feel, can we wish them well? They too are a fragile, tender human being just like us. They may not show it, but deep down they too feel sorrow and joy. They too find life difficult. And they're going to grow old, get sick and die, just like everybody else. So in spite of our difficulty with them, can we still wish them well in their lives? Can we have a sense of goodwill towards them? Just another human being, in many ways very much like ourselves. The final part of this meditation, bringing all four people together: ourselves, our good friend, the stranger, and the person we have some difficulty with. Just sitting together, and maybe if can we have a sense of loving kindness to all four equally, not denying any indifference to the stranger, not denying any dislike of the difficult person, but still wishing all four of us well. And then can we spread that well-wishing outwards to everybody that's been meditating with us this morning on Facebook and YouTube. Around about 17 people, all tender human beings, all of us putting a brave face onto our action in the world, but all of us experiencing much the same emotions and feelings. And can we spread our goodwill further over the whole world to every one of the 7 billion or so human beings that are walking the earth in all kinds of different situations, different personalities, ages, situations, conditions, wishing all human beings well, wherever they may be. And then spreading our goodwill even further to all living beings, including all animals, all birds, all water creatures, even insects and the smallest creatures on earth. Wishing them all well, all of them just trying to live their lives like we are, doing the best with the conditions they have been given. So wishing all beings, without exception, well. So, as I say, I've been doing this practice for 10, 11 years and I still need it. I'm a lot better than I was, but I have a tendency to be judgmental. I'll see somebody on a bus or in the street and I'll make an immediate assessment of their personality and character, which can't possibly be right. But it's just kind of me defending my territory. So I can do this practice anywhere. You know, if I see somebody and I notice that I'm looking down on them or criticizing them in some way, then I just bring a sense of, I just bring an observation that their life is very much like mine. I try and see through this facade into their inner feelings and just connect with them heart to heart. And it actually works. We can have a real connection and real empathy with other people if we just think about it a little while and don't go with our initial reaction of fear or disapproval or some kind of competitive spirit with them. And it's okay, you know, it's okay that we feel like that, because that's just being human. But we can overcome this this disconnection with other people